Hey guys, I am here to help you today. This video to fall asleep. So before that, like the video and subscribe to the channel. Also, where are you from? And what time are you watching? Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum. Now get comfortable and relax.
The wind howls outside, a restless spirit in itself, as you find yourself standing at the edge of a small 18th century coastal village. The year is 1763, and the air carries the sharp tang of salt and damp earth, mingling with the faint scent of rotting seaweed. You pull your woolen cloak tighter around your shoulders, the coarse fabric scratching against your skin as the first drops of an approaching storm patter against your hood. The village is a cluster of weathered cottages, their stone walls stained dark by years of sea spray, huddled together as if bracing against the relentless Atlantic gales. The sky above is a roiling mass of grey, clouds churning like a restless sea, and the distant rumble of thunder feels like a warning whispered just for you. You take a step forward, your boot sinking slightly into the muddy path that serves as the village's main thoroughfare. The street is nearly deserted, save for a lone fisherman hurrying past, his oilskin coat glistening with rain. He doesn't meet your eyes, but you catch the flicker of unease in his glance, as if your presence here is an oddity, a disruption. To the village's quiet rhythm, to your left, a tavern's sign creaks on its hinges, the faded image of a ship barely visible beneath layers of grime. The windows glow faintly, casting pools of amber light onto the wet cobblestones, but the laughter inside feels hollow, swallowed by the wind. Your gaze drifts to the horizon, where the sea churns under the gathering storm. Waves crash against jagged cliffs, sending plumes of white foam skyward, and for a moment, you think you see a flicker of light out there, far beyond the breakers. It's not a ship, nor a star, but something smaller, swaying like a lantern caught. In the wind, the sight sends a shiver down your spine, not from the cold, but from a feeling you can't quite name, a sense that something or someone is watching you from the shadows of this forgotten place. You walk on, drawn toward the edge of the village where the cottages thin out and the land rises into low, grassy hills. The wind grows sharper, tugging at your cloak as if urging you to turn back, but your feet carry you forward, guided by an instinct you don't fully understand. The path narrows, winding past a crumbling stone wall overgrown with moss, and you notice the air growing heavier, as if the storm is pressing down on the world. The distant light flickers again, closer now, and you realize it's coming from a small cottage perched precariously near the cliff's edge, its silhouette stark. Against the stormy sky, the cottage is unlike the others. Its walls are weathered to a pale grey, and the thatched roof sags under the weight of years. A single window glows with a faint, unsteady light, and you can just make out the shape of a lantern hanging from a rusted hook by the door. It sways gently, though the wind should be tearing it free, its flame burning with an eerie steadiness that defies the gusts. You pause, your breath catching as the light seems to pulse, almost beckoning you closer. The village behind you feels miles away now. It sounds muffled by the storm's low moan, and you're alone with the cottage and that strange, unwavering light. You take another step, and the ground beneath you shifts slightly, loose pebbles skittering toward the cliff's edge. The sea below roars, a deep, guttural sound that seems to vibrate in your chest. You can't shake the feeling that the lantern's glow is meant for you, that it's been waiting for someone to notice it. The air grows colder, and you swear. You hear a faint whisper, not from the wind, but from somewhere closer, perhaps inside your own thoughts. It's a single word, soft and mournful. Asterisk, come. Your heart quickens, but your feet move of their own accord, drawn toward the cottage and the mystery it holds. The path to the cottage is steep, lined with gnarled shrubs that claw at your cloak as you pass. The lantern's light grows brighter, casting long shadows that twist and dance across the ground like spectres. You notice the door, weathered and cracked, is slightly ajar, and the gap reveals a sliver of the interior flicker of firelight, the edge of a wooden table, and something else, a shadow that moves too slowly to be cast by the flame. Your hand hesitates at the door, the wood cold and damp under your fingers, and you wonder if you should knock or simply step inside. The wind howls again, and the lantern sways, its light flaring briefly as if urging you to decide. You push the door open, and it creaks on rusted hinges, the sound swallowed by the storm's relentless wail. The air inside the widow's cottage is thick with the scent of old wood, damp wool, and something sharper, like herbs burned long ago. The lantern's glow spills in from outside, mingling with the faint light of a dying fire in the hearth. The room is small, its walls lined with shelves that sag under the weight of dusty jars and faded books. A single chair sits by the fire, its cushion worn thin, as if someone has sat there for years, waiting. You step inside, and the floorboards groan under your weight, each step echoing in the quiet space. The door swings shut behind you, not with a slam, but with a slow, deliberate thud, as if the cottage itself has decided to keep you here. You glance back, half expecting to see someone standing there, but there's only the door, its surface scarred with deep scratches that look too precise to be accidental. Your eyes adjust to the dimness, and you notice the details of the room. A spinning wheel in the corner, its spindle still, a basket of unspun wool beside it, a cracked mirror hanging crookedly on the wall, its surface clouded with age, and the lantern now visible through the window. Still swaying though, the wind seems to have no effect on its flame. You move toward the fire, drawn by the faint warmth it offers. The hearth is blackened with soot, and a pile of logs sits nearby, their bark peeling like old skin. You kneel to stoke the fire, and as you do, a faint sound reaches your ears, not the storm, not the creaking cottage, but something softer, like a sigh. You freeze, your hand hovering over the logs, and listen. The sound comes again from somewhere deeper in the cottage, beyond the small room you're in. It's not a voice, not yet, but it carries a weight of sorrow that makes your chest tighten. You stand, brushing soot from your hands, and notice a narrow hallway leading from the main room. The walls are bare, save for a single painting, its colors faded to shades of grey and blue. It depicts a ship, its sails torn, caught in a storm much like the one raging outside. The ship's name is illegible, but the image feels familiar, as if you've seen it before, perhaps in a dream. You take a step toward the hallway, and the floorboards creak again, louder this time, as if warning you to stay put. But the lantern's light flickers through the window, casting a glow that seems to point toward the hallway, urging you forward. The hallway is darker than the main room, the air colder, and you feel a draft that seems to come from nowhere. You pass a small table, its surface cluttered with objects, a tarnished silver locket, a bundle of dried lavender, and a single candle, its wax melted into a frozen cascade. You pick up the locket, its weight surprising in your hand, and open it. Inside is a miniature portrait of a man, his face stern but kind, his eyes seeming to meet yours. You close the locket quickly, your fingers trembling, and set it back down. The sigh comes again, clearer now, and you realize it's coming from a door at the end of the hallway. You approach the door. It's wood warped and stained, and notice a faint glow seeping from the gap beneath it. The lantern outside flares suddenly, its light streaming through the window and illuminating the door in a pale golden hue. You reach for the handle, but before you can touch it, the door creaks. Open an inch, revealing a glimpse of a small room beyond. The air grows heavier, and the sigh becomes a whisper, a woman's voice. Soft and broken. Asterisk, he's still out there. Your breath catches, and you push the door open, stepping into the unknown. You step back into the main room of the widow's cottage, the whisper still echoing in your mind, though the voice has faded into the storm's low moan. The lantern outside sways, its light casting fleeting shadows that seem to writhe across the walls, as if the cottage itself is alive with secrets. You feel a pull to leave, to seek answers beyond these weathered walls, and so you pull your cloak tight and step out into the village. The rain has softened to a drizzle, but the wind still bites, carrying the faint scent of salt and something metallic like old blood. The path back to the village is slick with mud, and your boots squelch with each step. The sound oddly loud in the quiet between thunderclaps. The tavern's amber glow draws you, its sign creaking as you approach. You push open the heavy door, and a wave of warmth hits you, mingled with the smell of ale, damp wool, and smoke. The room is sparsely filled. A handful of villagers huddle at tables, their faces weathered and drawn, their voices low. You feel their eyes on you as you cross the threshold, a stranger in their midst, but no one speaks. You find a seat near the fire, its crackle a small comfort, and order a mug of ale from a barmaid whose glance lingers too long, as if she's trying to place you. You sip the ale, its bitterness grounding you, and listen to the conversations around you. The villagers speak in hushed tones, their words fragmented but heavy with meaning. She's out there again, an old man mutters, his hands trembling. Around his mug, every storm, that lantern burns. A woman at his table nods, her voice barely a whisper. The widow's curse, they call it. Her husband never came back, and she won't let him go. You lean closer, careful not to draw attention, as they recount the tale. A young widow, Margaret, whose husband, a fisherman, sailed out one stormy night and never returned. They say she lights her lantern each night, waiting for him, her grief. So deep it's bound her soul to this place. The barmaid approaches, wiping her hands on her apron, and you seize the chance to ask about the widow. Her eyes narrow, but she speaks softly, as if afraid of being overheard. Margaret's been gone years, but her cottage ain't empty. Folks see her light, hear her crying when the wind's up. Some say she made a pact, tied her soul to that lantern to call him back. She pauses, glancing toward the door. You were up there, weren't you? Mind yourself. That place don't let go easy. Her words hang in the air as she moves away, leaving you with a chill that the fire can't touch. You finish your ale, the villagers' whispers swirling in your mind. The widow's story feels like a weight on your chest, each detail adding to the mystery of the lantern's glow. You step outside, the drizzle now a fine mist, and look toward the cliff where the cottage stands. The lantern's light is still, visible, a faint beacon in the dark, and you feel it calling you back, as if the widow herself is urging you to uncover the truth. The village feels smaller now, its cottages hunched against the storm, and you realize the answers lie not here, but in the widow's world, where grief and the sea are intertwined. The wind picks up as you leave the tavern behind, its howl growing into a roar that seems to shake the very ground. The storm is no longer a distant threat. It's alive, a force that presses against you as you retrace your steps toward the widow's cottage. The path is treacherous now, the mud thicker, the stones slick with rain. You clutch your cloak, the fabric sodden and heavy, and keep your eyes on the lantern's glow, a steady point of light that cuts through the chaos. The sea is louder here, its waves crashing against the cliffs below with a rhythm that feels almost deliberate. Like a heartbeat as you climb the hill, the village fades into a blur of grey and shadow, swallowed by the storm's fury. The lantern's light grows brighter, its sway hypnotic, and you notice the air growing colder, sharper, as if the storm is drawing energy from the cottage itself. You pause to catch your breath, and for a moment you swear the wind carries a voice, not the whisper from before, but a low, mournful song, its melody fragmented by the gale. It's coming from the direction of the cottage, and though you can't make out the words, it pulls at something deep within you, a longing you didn't know you carried. You reach the cottage, its walls looming darker now, as if the storm has painted them with shadow. The lantern hangs by the door, its flame unyielding, casting a pool of light that dances across the ground. You notice something new, faint scratches in the dirt, like claw marks, leading from the door toward the cliff's edge. They're fresh, undisturbed by the rain, and your pulse quickens as you follow them. The lanterns glow at your back. The path narrows, the ground crumbling beneath your feet, and you realize you're walking where the widow once walked. Night after night, her lantern held high. The cliff's edge is closer than you expected, the drop to the sea below a dizzying void. The wind screams, tugging at your cloak, and you kneel to examine the scratches. They stop abruptly, as if whatever made them vanished into the air. You look out at the sea, its surface a churning mass of black and white, and see that flicker. Again the same light you glimpsed from the village, now clearer, swaying far out on the waves. It's impossible, yet there it is, a lantern's glow where no lantern should be. The song comes again, louder now, and you realize it's not just the wind, it's her, Margaret, her voice woven into the storm, calling to someone lost in the dark. You turn back to the cottage, the lantern's light now a beacon that feels both welcoming and ominous. The storm's roar seems to pulse with your heartbeat, and you feel the weight of the widow's grief, her endless vigil, pressing down on you. The scratches, the song, the impossible light on the sea, though, all pieces of a puzzle you're only beginning to understand. You step toward the cottage, determined to find what lies within its walls, knowing the storm is no mere weather. It's a manifestation of something older, something tied to the widow and her lantern. You push open the cottage door once more, the familiar creak of its hinges blending with the storm's relentless howl outside. The air inside feels heavier now, as if the widow's grief has settled into the very walls, thickening the space around you. The lantern's light streams through the window, casting long, wavering shadows that seem to shift just beyond your vision, like figures retreating into the corners. Your boots leave muddy prints on the worn floorboards, and each step echoes with a hollow thud, as if the cottage is a drum, its rhythm tied to the sea's endless pulse. You pause, your breath visible in the chill, and take in the room again. Its details sharper now in the flickering firelight. The hearth's embers glow faintly, barely holding back the cold that seeps through the walls. You move closer, drawn to the warmth, but a sudden draft snakes through the room. stirring the air and sending a shiver down your spine. It's not just the wind, there's a presence here, subtle but undeniable, like a weight pressing against your thoughts. You glance at the spinning wheel in the corner. Its spindle still, the basket of wool untouched, as if time stopped the moment the widow's life broke apart. The cracked mirror on the wall catches your reflection, but for a fleeting second, it's not your face you see. There's a flicker of pale skin, dark eyes, a woman's silhouette that vanishes as you blink. You turn away, heart pounding, and notice the narrow hallway you glimpsed before, its darkness now seeming to beckon. The floorboards groan louder as you approach, each step feeling like a commitment to uncovering the cottage's secrets. The painting of the storm-tossed ship looms on the wall, its faded colors more vivid in the dim light. The ship's hull splintered as if you can hear the wood cracking. You pass the small table with the locket, the lavender, the melted candle, and the draft grows colder, wrapping around you like a shroud. The sigh you heard earlier returns, softer now, almost a breath, coming from the room at the hallways. And you step into the small room, the one you glimpsed before, and find its sparser narrow bed with a threadbare quilt, a wooden chest, and a single chair facing the window. The lantern's glow spills in, illuminating dust motes that drift like tiny ghosts. The air here is colder still, and your breath catches as you notice the walls. They're covered in faint scratches, like the ones outside, but these form patterns, lines, symbols you can't decipher. They seem to pulse in the lantern's light, as if alive, and you feel a tug, a compulsion to touch them. Your fingers hover over the marks, and the air hums, a low vibration that makes your skin prickle. The sigh comes again, closer, and you turn to find no one there, only the empty bed and the chest. You kneel by the chest, its wood warped and heavy, and lift the lid. Inside, you find a bundle of cloth, a few tarnished coins, and a small leather-bound journal, its pages yellowed and brittle. You open it, and the handwriting is delicate, hurried, the ink smudged as if written in haste. The words speak of storms, of waiting, of a love lost to the sea. He promised to return, one line reads, but the waves keep him. You close the journal, your hands trembling, and feel the room grow colder, the shadows deeper, as if the widow's presence is watching, waiting for you to understand. You clutch the journal, its weight grounding you as the storm outside roars louder, shaking the cottage's frail walls. The lantern's glow seems brighter now, its light streaming through the window with an intensity that feels almost deliberate, as if it's trying to show you something. You move to the window, the journal still in hand, and peer out at the lantern hanging by the door. Its flame burns steady, untouched by the wind, and you notice something new. Faint etchings on the lantern's glass, barely visible in the flickering light. They're not random scratches, but deliberate mark symbols like those on the walls, spiraling and angular, glowing faintly as if infused with the flame itself. You step outside, the journal tucked inside your cloak, and approach the lantern. The wind howls, tugging at your clothes, but the lantern remains still, its light unwavering. You reach out, your fingers brushing the cold metal frame, and the etchings seem to shimmer under your touch. They form a patina crescent moon. A wave, a single starch, one pulsing faintly, as if alive. You trace the symbols, and a low hum fills the air. Not from the storm, but from the lantern itself. A sound that vibrates in your chest. The light flares, and for a moment, you see a flash of something beyond the cottager ship, its sails torn, caught in a maelstrom. and a woman's figure holding a lantern high, her face etched with grief. The vision fades, and you're back on the cottage's doorstep, the rain stinging your face. The journal feels heavier now, its pages pressing against your chest, and you realize the lantern's etchings are a key, a map to the widow's story. You hurry back inside, the door slamming shut behind you, and open the journal under the firelight. The pages are filled with more than words, now sketches of the same symbols, drawn in trembling lines, alongside notes about the sea, the stars, and a promise. The light will guide him, one entry reads, even through the veil. You turn the pages, and the symbols grow more intricate, matched to descriptions of rituals, of offerings made to the sea to call a soul back. You pause, the fires crackle, the only sound besides the storm, and notice a loose page tucked in the journal's back. It's a map, crude but clear, showing the cliff's edge, the village, and a path leading to a lighthouse further along the coast. The lanterns, symbols are drawn at the map's center, circled in ink, with a single word scrawled beside them, beacon. Your heart quickens as you realize the lantern's purpose. It's not just a light for the widow's vigil, but something more. A tool to bridge the living and the dead. You look out the window, the lantern's glow now a steady pulse, and feel the pull to follow the map, to find the lighthouse and uncover what the widow's light was meant to do. The storm seems to roar in response, the wind carrying that mournful song again, clearer now, its melody weaving through the symbol's hum. You tuck the journal and map into your cloak, your resolve hardening. The cottage feels smaller, its walls closing in, and the lantern's light seems to point beyond, toward the cliff and the sea. You step toward the door, the shadows shifting as if reluctant to let you go, and prepare to follow the path the widow laid out, knowing the storm and the lantern are guiding you deeper into her tragedy. You step out of the cottage, the journal, and map pressed against your chest beneath your sodden cloak, the lantern's eerie glow casting your shadow long and wavering across the muddy ground. The storm's howl is a constant now, a deep, resonant wail that seems to rise from the sea itself, shaking the air with its fury. The lantern sways gently by the door, its etched symbols pulsing faintly, as if urging you onward. You glance at the crude map, its lines blurred by rain but still legible, pointing toward a lighthouse along the cliff's edge. The path ahead is treacherous, a narrow ribbon of earth clinging to the cliff, but the pull of the widow's story is stronger than the wind pushing you back as you walk. The sea roars below, its waves crashing against the rocks with a violence that feels personal, as if the ocean knows you're here, unraveling its secrets. The air is thick with salt and mist, stinging your eyes, and the ground beneath your boots shifts, loose stones tumbling into the abyss. You clutch the journal tighter, its pages a fragile tether to the widow's world. And then you hear it, again that mournful song, faint but clear, weaving through the storm. It's her voice, Margaret's, and this time it's not just a melody. Words emerge, soft and broken. Find him, he's lost, the light. The voice fades, but the words linger, heavy in your mind, and you quicken your pace. The path twists upward, the cliff's edge so close you can feel the void pulling at you. The lantern's light is behind you now, but its glow seems to follow, casting faint glimmers on the wet rocks. You pause, catching your breath, and a sudden gust carries a new sound, a sob. Raw and aching, not from the wind, but from somewhere. Ahead, you squint through the rain and see nothing but shadows, yet the sob comes again, closer, and with it, A vision flickers in your mind. A woman in a grey shawl, her hair whipped by the wind, standing at the cliff's edge, her lantern raised. High. Her face is blurred, but her grief is palpable. A weight that presses against your chest. The vision shifts, and you're no longer on the path, but on a ship, its deck tilting beneath you as waves crash over the bow. The air is thick with panic. Sailors shouting, ropes snapping, and above it all, the widow's voice calling a name Thomas. You see him, the man from the locket, his face pale and resolute as he clings to the mast, the sea swallowing the ship whole. The vision fades, and you're back on the cliff, your heart pounding, the sob echoing in your ears. The path stretches on, and you realize the widow's grief is not just a memory, it's alive, woven into the storm, the sea, the very air you breathe. You stumble forward, the map's lines guiding you toward the lighthouse. But the sobs grow louder, more insistent, as if Margaret is walking beside you, her presence a cold weight at your shoulder. The cliff narrows, and you press yourself against the rock face, the sea's roar deafening below. The lantern's symbols flash in your mind, moon wave, star, and you feel their meaning shifting. Not just a guide, but a plea, a ritual unfinished. The sobs fade into the wind, but the weight of her grief remains, urging you to keep moving, to find the lighthouse and the truth it holds. The cliffside path grows steeper, the rocks slicker, as you follow the map's faint lines toward the lighthouse. The storm's fury seems to focus on you now, the wind screaming in your ears, the rain driving into your face like needles. Your cloak is heavy, soaked through, and each step feels like a battle against the elements, but the widow's sob still echoes in your mind, a thread pulling you forward. The sea below is a churning black void, its waves clawing at the cliffs as if trying to drag you down. You glance back, half expecting to see the cottage's lantern, but it's too far now, swallowed by the dark, though its symbols still burn. In your memory, the path curves sharply, and there it is, the lighthouse, a gaunt silhouette against the storm's grey chaos. Its stone tower is weathered, streaked with salt and moss, and its beacon is dark, long abandoned. The door at its base is ajar, creaking in the wind, and you feel a chill that has nothing to do with the rain. The widow's song hums faintly, not in your ears but in your bones, its melody guiding you closer. You push through the door, the wood splintered and damp, and step into a cold, cavernous space. The air smells of mildew and rust, and the spiral staircase before you disappears into shadows above. You climb, your boots echoing on the iron steps, each one ringing like a bell in the silence. The walls are damp, slick with condensation, and you notice faint scratches etched into the stone, like those in the cottage swell's lines. The same symbols from the lantern. They seem to glow faintly, or perhaps it's a trick of the dim light. Filtering through cracked windows, the sob comes again, sharper now, and you pause, your hand on the cold railing. The vision returns, unbidden. Margaret on the cliff, her lantern raised, her voice calling Thomas's name as the sea swallows him. You see her eyes, dark and hollow, fixed on the horizon, her shawl fluttering like a ghost. The staircase ends at a heavy trapdoor, its hinges rusted but intact. You push it open, the effort sending a tremor through your arms, and climb into the lantern room. It's empty, save for a rusted beacon and a single window facing the sea, its glass cracked but holding against the storm. The floor is littered with debris, broken glass, a torn logbook, a single glove, its leather stiff with age. You kneel, sifting through the mess, and find a small brass key, its surface etched with the same crescent moon as the lantern. Your fingers close around it, and the sob turns into a whisper. He's here. Find him. You stand, the key cold in your hand, and look out the window. The sea is a writhing mass, but there, far out, is that impossible light again, swaying, like a lantern on the waves. The symbols on the walls pulse, and you realize the lighthouse is more than a marker, it's a threshold. A place where the widow's grief and the sea's secrets meet. The key feels heavier now, a piece of the puzzle, and you know you must find what it unlocks. Somewhere in the shadows of this forsaken tower, the storm's roar fills the lighthouse, a relentless pulse that seems to shake the very stones as you stand in the lantern room, the brass key cold and heavy in your hand. The cracked window rattles, letting in gusts of icy air, and the sea beyond is a writhing mass of blackened foam, its waves clawing at the cliffs below. The widow's whisper lingers in your mind. He's here. Find him, and you feel her presence, not as a shadow, but as a weight, pressing you to move, to act. The symbols etched into the walls glow faintly, their swirls and lines mirroring those on the lantern back at the cottage, and you sense they're guiding you, pointing to something hidden within this forsaken tower. You turn from the window, the swaying light on the sea still burning in your memory, and scan the room again. The debris-broken glass, the torn logbook, the stiff leather glove, feels like a puzzle waiting to be solved. You kneel, sifting through the mess, and notice the logbook's pages are brittle, some crumbling under your touch. The entries are faded, written in a hurried hand, detailing storms and ships lost to the sea. One page catches your eye, 1763. October, the starlight vanished. Thomas aboard. Widow Margaret lights her beacon nightly. Your breath catches Thomas, the man from the locket, the name in her song. The key in your hand feels warmer, as if responding to the name. You move to the center of the room, where the rusted beacon stands, its mechanism long seized. The floor beneath it is uneven, and you notice a faint outline in the dust, a seam in the stone that doesn't match the rest. You kneel again, brushing away years of grime, and find a small, locked trapdoor, its surface etched with a crescent moon symbol. The key fits perfectly, clicking as it turns, and the trapdoor creaks open, revealing a narrow ladder descending into darkness. The air, rising from below, is damp, heavy with the smell of salt and decay, and you hesitate. The widow's whisper urging you forward. Find him. You descend, the ladder creaking under your weight, and the darkness swallows you, broken only by the faint glow of the symbols on the walls, now appearing in the stone around you. The ladder ends in a small chamber, its walls slick with moisture, the air thick with the sea's presence. The floor is muddy, and as you step forward, your boots sink slightly, leaving prints that mingle with others faint. Older footprints, small and delicate, as if a woman walked here long ago. They lead to a corner, where a wooden chest sits, its surface carved with the same symbols: moon, wave, star. The footprints stop there, and you feel a chill, knowing these are Margaret's, left in her endless search for Thomas. You approach the chest, the key still in hand, and notice the footprints are fresh, impossibly so, undisturbed by the damp or time. The widow's song hums in your ears, softer now, a plea woven into the melody. You kneel, the mud cold against your knees, and realize the footprints don't just end, they circle the chest, as if she stood here, waiting, her lantern's light guiding her steps. The key trembles in your hand, and you know whatever lies within the chest is the next piece of her story, a step closer to the truth of the swaying light on the sea. The chest's lid is heavy, its wood swollen from years of damp, but the key turns smoothly in the lock, the mechanism clicking with a sound that echoes in the small chamber. You lift the lid, and a wave of musty air rises, carrying the faint scent of old paper and salt. Inside, you find a bundle of letters tied with faded ribbon, a tarnished sextant, and a small vial of dark liquid, its glass etched with the crescent moon symbol. The footprints around you seem to tighten, as if Margaret's presence is watching. Her whisper now, a faint hum in the air. He's here. You untie the ribbon, the letters crackling under your fingers, and begin to read. The storm's distant roar fading as the widow's words pull you into her world. The letters are from Thomas, written to Margaret before his final voyage. His handwriting is steady, filled with love, but shadowed by unease. The Starlight sails tomorrow, one reads, but the crew speaks of a curse, a relic taken from the sea. Another letter mentions a storm that never ends, a force that claims what it's owed. You pause, the vial glinting in the dim light, and wonder if it holds the key to the curse. The final letter is different, written in a trembling hand, dated the night the starlight vanished. Margaret, if I don't return, keep the light burning. It's the only way. Your heart sinks, realizing the lantern's purpose to guide him back, not just from the sea, but from something darker. You set the letters aside and pick up the sextant. It's brass, cold and heavy. As you turn it, the symbols on its surface glow faintly, matching those on the walls and the lantern. You feel a pull, a vision flickering. Margaret in this chamber, reading these letters, her lantern raised, her face wet with tears. The vision shifts, showing the starlight breaking apart. Thomas clutching a relica stone carved with the same symbols as the sea claims him. The vision fades, and you're back in the chamber. The vial in your hand now warm, its liquid swirling as if alive. You notice a small compartment in the chest, hidden beneath a false bottom. Inside is a single page, not a letter but a ritual, written in Margaret's hand. It describes using the lantern's light, the vial's contents, and the sextant to break the sea's hold. The instructions are cryptic, mentioning a threshold at the lighthouse's peak, where the light must shine at dawn. You look up, the ladder leading back to the lantern room above, and realize the chamber is only part of the puzzle. The footprints circle tighter, and the widow's song grows clearer, her voice a soft guide, the light show him the way. You gather the letters, sextant and vial, tucking them into your cloak with the journal and map. The chamber feels smaller now, the air heavier, as if the sea itself is pressing in. You climb the ladder, the symbols on the walls pulsing with your steps, and emerge into the lantern room. The storm outside is louder, the window rattling, and that impossible light on the sea sways closer, as if drawn by your discovery. You know the ritual awaits, tied to the lantern, the lighthouse, and the widow's endless grief. You stand in the lantern room of the lighthouse, the storm's fury rattling the cracked window as you clutch the bundle of letters. The sextant and the vial, their weight anchoring you against the chaos outside. The symbols on the walls pulse faintly, there, glows sinking with the distant light you've seen swaying on the sea, a beacon that feels both alive and impossible. The widow's song hums in your ears, its melody now a clear thread of words. The light show him the way. The letters in your hand tremble slightly, as if stirred by an unseen draft, and you sit on the cold floor, the ritual page from Margaret's journal opened beside you. The storm's roar seems too quiet for a moment, giving way to the weight of the words you're about to read. You untie the ribbon again, spreading Thomas's letters before you, their ink smudged but legible in the dim light. The earliest ones are filled with warmth, descriptions of the village, the sea, and Margaret's smile. But as they progress, a shadow creeps in. Thomas writes of the Starlight S-crew, their unease about a relic they found a stone carved, with symbols taken from a sunken wreck. It hums at night, he writes, and the sea watches us. Another letter speaks of dreams, of a figure in the waves, calling him by name. The final letter, written the night before the ship vanished, is the most chilling. Margaret, the relic is cursed. If I don't return, burn the light until I do. You pause, the vial's dark liquid catching the light, swirling as if alive, and you wonder if it's tied to the relic. A piece of the curse that holds Thomas. The sextant lies heavy in your lap, its symbols glowing faintly, and you notice a small inscription on its base. For Margaret, my guiding star. You turn it, and a vision flickers a ship's deck, waves crashing, Thomas holding the sextant as the relic glows in his hands, the sea rising to claim him. The vision fades, and you're back in the lantern room, your breath shallow. The letters confirm what the vision showed. Thomas's disappearance wasn't just a storm's doing, but something darker, tied to the relic and the sea's wrath. Margaret's ritual page mentions the vial, describing it as the sea's blood, to be used with the lantern's light to break the curse's hold. You stand, the letters trembling in your hands, and move to the window. The sea is a churning void, but the swaying light is clearer now, closer, as if drawn by your presence. The widow's voice hums again, not in the air, but in your mind. A plea woven into the storm. He's trapped. The light, you realize. The letters are more than memories. They're a map to Thomas's fate, pointing to the ritual and the lighthouse's peak. The symbols on the walls pulse faster, and you feel the weight of Margaret's grief, her endless vigil, urging you to act before the storm consumes everything. The storm's intensity surges, the lighthouse shuddering as if struck by the sea. Itself, the wind screaming through the cracked window with a force that threatens to tear it from its frame. You clutch the letters sextant and vial, their edges sharp against your skin. As the widow's song grows louder, its words now a desperate chant. He's trapped. The light. The ritual page lies open on the floor. Its instructions, cryptic but urgent, calling for the lantern's light. The vial's contents and the sextant to be used at dawn in the lighthouse's peak. You glance outside, the sky a roiling mass of black and grey, and realize dawn is hours away. Yet the storm feels like it's peaking now, as if the sea is impatient, demanding its due. You move to the rusted beacon, its mechanism frozen, and notice a small platform above, accessible by a narrow ladder bolted to the wall. The symbols moonwave, starglow brighter on the walls, their light pulsing in time with the swaying beacon on the sea. You climb, the ladder creaking under. Your weight and reach the platform, a small circle of stone directly beneath the beacon's glass dome. The storm's roar is deafening here, the wind rattling the dome, but the symbols seem to hum, their vibration steadying your nerves. You set the letters sextant and vial on the platform, and a vision crashes over you, unbidden, pulling you into Margaret's world. You're on the cliff, the widow beside you, her shawl whipping in the wind, her lantern raised high. Her face is pale, her eyes hollow, fixed on the sea where the starlight founders. its hull splintered, Thomas clinging to the relic as the waves close over him. Margaret's voice breaks, a scream swallowed by the storm, and she turns to you, her eyes pleading, "The light, it's not enough." The vision shifts, and you're in the lighthouse. Margaret pouring the vial's dark liquid into the lantern, its flame flaring blue, the symbols glowing as she chants words you can't understand. The sea roars, and the light on the waves sways closer, but something resists, a shadow in the water pulling Thomas back. The vision fades, and you're on the platform, the storm's peak shaking the lighthouse. The vial's liquid swells faster, the sextant's symbols glowing, and you realize the ritual is incomplete. Margaret tried, but the curse held fast. The letters flutter in a sudden gust, one catching your eye. The relic binds him. Break it with the light. You look out at the sea, the swaying light now a clear lantern, impossibly afloat. And no, Thomas's soul is trapped there, caught by the relic's curse. The storm's fury mirrors Margaret's anguish, each gust a cry, each wave a plea, and you feel the weight of her hope resting on you, urging you to complete what she could not. The lighthouse trembles under the storm's relentless assault, the wind shrieking through the cracked dome as you stand on the narrow platform, the letters sextant and vial at your feet. The widow's chant echoes in your mind. He's trapped. The light, its urgency mirrored by the pulsing symbols on the walls. Their glow now a steady rhythm, like a heartbeat. The sea beyond the window is a writhing chaos, but the swaying lantern light on the waves burns brighter, closer, as if drawn to the lighthouse by your presence. You clutch the ritual page from Margaret's journal, its words about the vial, the sextant, and the dawn light feeling like a lifeline. Though the storm's peak makes dawn seem a lifetime away, the air hums with energy, and you know the next step lies in understanding Thomas's fate, the relic, and the sea's hold. You kneel, the platform cold against your knees, and pick up the sextant, its brass warm despite the chill. As you turn it, the symbols moon, wave, star flare, and a vision engulfs you, pulling you from the lighthouse into a world of water and despair. You're on the starlight, its deck tilting wildly as waves crash over the bow, the cruise. Shouts drowned by the storm's roar. Thomas stands at the helm, his face gaunt, clutching a stone relic carved with the same symbols, its surface glowing with an unnatural light. The sea surges, not just water, but a presence, a shadow that coils. Around the ship, its voice a low growl. Mine. Thomas raises the relic, defiance in his eyes, but the waves close over him, and the vision shifts to darkness, the relic sinking. Thomas's hand still gripping it as the sea claims them both. You gasp back on the platform, the sextant heavy in your hands. The vision was no mere memory, it felt alive, as if the sea is replaying Thomas's final moments, trapping him in an endless loop. The letters confirm it. The relic, stolen from a sunken wreck, angered the sea, binding Thomas's soul to its depths. Margaret's ritual page speaks of breaking the hold with the vial's contents, the sea's blood and the lantern's lighted dawn. You glance at the vial, its dark liquid swirling faster, and realize it's tied to the relic, a counterpoint to its curse. The widow's song grows louder, her voice breaking. He's there. The ship, you look out, and the lantern light on the sea pulses, a beacon of Thomas's trapped soul. The storm shakes the lighthouse harder, the dome's glass creaking, and you feel Margaret's presence beside you, not as a figure but a weight, her grief fueling the wind. The vision lingers Thomas's last moments. The relics glow, the sea's shadow, and you know the shipwreck is more than a tragedy. It's the heart of the curse. The swaying light on the waves is no illusion. It's Thomas, or what remains of him, caught where the starlight sank. You grip the sextant, its symbols warm, and feel a pull toward the window, the sea, the light. The ritual awaits, but first you must face the shipwreck's truth, carried by the widow's endless vigil. The storm's roar peaks the lighthouse, shuddering as if the sea itself is clawing at its foundations, and you stand on the platform, the vial's dark liquid catching the glow of the pulsing symbols on the walls. The widow's song is a constant now, a desperate plea woven into the wind. He's there, the light. The swaying lantern on the sea burns brighter, its rhythm matching the symbol's pulse, and you realize the lantern back at the cottage, the one Margaret lit nightly, is more than a beacon. It's a bridge, a way to reach Thomas's soul, trapped by the relic's curse. The ritual page lies open, its words about the seas, blood, and the dawn light guiding you. But the storm's fury makes waiting for dawn feel impossible. You pick up the vial, its glass warm, the liquid inside swirling like a storm of its own. The ritual instructions are clear. Pour the sea's blood into the lantern. Align the sextant with the star symbol, and let the light shine at the lighthouse's peak. But the page also warns of a cost. The light demands a sacrifice, and you feel a chill, wondering what Margaret gave to keep the lantern burning. You move to the window, the sea a black abyss below, and the swaying light pulses closer. Now a clear lantern, its flame identical to the one at the cottage. The widow's presence is stronger here, her grief a cold hand on your shoulder, urging you to act. You climb down from the platform, the sextant and vial in hand, and return to the lantern room's main floor. The letters are scattered where you left them, and you notice one you hadn't read, tucked beneath the others. It's from Margaret, not Thomas, written in a trembling hand. The sea took him, but the light can bring him back. I offer my years, my rest, my soul. Your heart sinks. She bound herself to the lantern, her life fueling its flame, a sacrifice to guide Thomas home. The ritual page mentions the same, a life for a life, and you wonder if completing it will demand something from you. You step outside, the storm's wind nearly knocking you back, and make your way to the cliff's edge, following the path to the cottage. The lantern still hangs by the door, its flame steady despite the gale, its symbols glowing brighter now. You lift it from its hook, the metal warm, and pour the vial's liquid into the fuel well. The flame flares blue, the symbols blazing, and the widow's song becomes a cry. Now, the light. You carry the lantern back to the lighthouse, the sea's roar matching your steps, knowing the ritual's moment is near, and the lantern's purposed free. Thomas rests in your hands. The lantern's blue flame casts an eerie glow as you carry it back from the cottage, the wind screaming around you, each gust laced with the widow's voice. Now, the light. The storm's ferocity seems to bend to the lantern's will, the rain parting slightly as you climb the cliffside path to the lighthouse, the vial's empty glass still warm in your pocket. The sea below roars, its waves crashing with a rhythm. That feels like a challenge, as if it knows you're unraveling its hold on Thomas. The swaying light on the waves pulses brighter, closer, a mirror to the lantern in your hands, and you sense Margaret's presence guiding you, her grief a steady weight at your side. You pause halfway up the path, the lighthouse looming ahead, its dark silhouette a stark contrast to the churning sky. The ritual page, tucked inside your cloak with the letters and sextant burns. In your mind, its warning of a sacrifice lingers. But the urgency of Margaret's plea pushes you forward. The village lies below, its lights dim and scattered, and you realize the answers no longer lie there. The truth is in the lighthouse, the lantern, and the sea. But a new instinct pulls you toward the village graveyard, a place the map marked with a single star symbol. You turn, descending a muddy trail. The lanterns glow, lighting your way through the storm's chaos. The graveyard is a small, windswept plot, its headstones worn and tilted, half buried in grass and mud. The lantern's blue light casts long shadows, making the stones seem to shift, as if watching you. You walk among them, the names barely legible fishermen, wives, children lost to the sea. Then you see her, a faint figure, translucent, standing by a stone-marked Margaret, 1763. Her shawl flutters, her face pale but clear, her eyes fixed on you. The lantern flares, and she steps closer, her form wavering like mist. "You've seen him," she whispers, her voice soft but piercing, "in the shipwreck, in the light." You nod, unable to speak, the weight of her gaze holding you still. Margaret's ghost points to the sea, where the swaying light pulses, and her voice trembles. "He's bound by the relic. Free him." She fades, the lantern's flame dimming. Briefly, and you notice fresh footprints in the mud, circling her grave, matching those in the cottage and lighthouse. The storm howls, but her presence lingers. A cold certainty that the graveyard is a step in the ritual, a place where her sacrifice began. You kneel by her stone, the lantern's light revealing faint symbols etched into it. Moon, wave, star, and you know the next step lies with her plea, her soul tied to the light you carry. You rise from Margaret's grave, the lantern's blue flame steady in your hand, its warmth a faint comfort against the storm's icy grip. The widow's words echo, "Free him," and you feel her presence stronger now. Not just a ghost, but a force, woven into the light, the symbols, the seas. Endless rage. The graveyard feels smaller, the headstones closing in, and the swaying light on the waves burns brighter, as if Thomas's soul is reaching for you. You clutch the sextant and letters, the ritual page's instructions clear in your mind. The lantern, the sea's blood, the dawn light. But Margaret's plea adds a new weight, a demand to act, and you know the graveyard is only a pause, a moment to hear her before returning to the lighthouse. You turn back to the cliffside path, the lantern lighting the way as the storm surges, the wind carrying Margaret's voice. "He's bound, help him." The trail is slicker now, the mud pulling at your boots, but the lantern's glow keeps you steady, its symbols pulsing in time with your steps. You reach the lighthouse, its door creaking open as if expecting you, and climb the spiral staircase, the wall's symbols glowing brighter, their hum filling the air. The lantern room is as you left it, the scattered letters fluttering in a draft, the rusted beacons silent. You set the lantern on the platform, its blue flame casting shadows that dance like spectres, and feel Margaret's presence again, her voice clearer. The relic. Break it. You open the ritual page, its words sharper now. The sea's blood calls the soul. The light sets it free. You realize the vial's liquid, poured into the lantern, was only the first step. The sextant, aligned with the star. Symbol must guide the light. But Margaret's ghost spoke of a cost, her own life given to the lantern. You hesitate, the letters trembling in your hand, and a vision flickers. Margaret in this room, pouring her blood knot the vials into the lantern, her face pale as she chanted, binding her soul to keep the light burning. The vision fades, and you understand her plea is for you to finish what she started, to use the lantern to break the relic's curse. You lift the sextant, its symbols glowing, and align it with the star etched on the platform. The lantern's flame flares, its light streaming through the cracked dome, and the swaying light on the sea responds, pulsing closer. Margaret's voice rises, a desperate cry. Now, free him. The storm shakes, the lighthouse, the sea, roaring as if resisting, and you feel the ritual's moment approaching. The lanterns light a bridge between worlds. You know the next step lies beyond the lighthouse, in the sea's dark heart, where the relic holds Thomas, and Margaret's sacrifice waits for you to complete it. The lighthouse shudders under the storm's relentless fury, the lanterns blue, flame casting wild shadows across the platform as you hold the sextant, its star symbol aligned and glowing faintly. Margaret's voice, now a desperate chant, now free him, blends with the wind's howl, urging you toward the ritual's next step. The swaying light on the sea pulses closer, its rhythm a heartbeat in the dark, and you feel the weight of Thomas's soul, trapped by the relic's curse, pulling you toward the truth. The ritual page lies open, its words about the seas, blood, and the dawn light clear. But Margaret's plea in the graveyard revealed a deeper secret. The relic itself, a stone carved with symbols, holds the key to the curse that binds Thomas to the waves. You descend the ladder, the lantern in one hand, its flame steady despite the gale seeping through the cracked dome. The letters and sextant are tucked inside your cloak, their edges pressing against your chest as you return to the lantern room's main floor. The scattered letters flutter, and you pick up the one from Margaret. The relic binds him. Break it with the light. The vision from the shipwreck flashes in your mind, Thomas clutching the stone, its symbols glowing as the sea's shadow swallowed him. You realize the relic isn't just a cursed object. It's a fragment of the sea's will, stolen by the Starlight S crew, and its wrath has kept Thomas in limbo. You step outside, the storm's wind nearly knocking you back, and follow the cliffside path to the cottage, the lantern's blue glow lighting the way. The sea roars below, its waves clawing at the rocks, and you notice something new, a faint shimmer in the water. Not the lantern's light, but something deeper, glowing with the same symbols, moonwave, star. You kneel at the cliff's edge, the lantern raised, and a vision strikes. The Starlight S wreck, the relic sinking, its glow pulsing as the sea's shadow coils around it, whispering, "Mine." The vision shifts to Margaret, standing here, her lantern flaring blue, her blood mixing with the sea's blood, binding her soul to call Thomas back. You return to the cottage, the lantern's light illuminating the scratched symbols on the walls. In the small room, you find a hidden drawer in the chest, overlooked before, containing a single item, a small blackened stone, its surface carved with the familiar symbols. It hums faintly, warm to the touch, and you know this is the relic, or a piece of it, kept by Margaret for the ritual. The sea's roar grows louder, as if sensing your discovery, and you feel the curse's weight, a dark force tying Thomas to the waves. The lantern's flame flares, and Margaret's voice whispers, "Break it, the light." You clutch the stone, knowing the ritual's climax awaits at the lighthouse, where the sea's secret will be confronted. The storm's fury peaks as you climb back to the lighthouse, the lantern's blue flame a steady beacon in your hand, the relic stone heavy in your pocket, The wind howls with a voice now, not just Margaret's, but something older, deeper, as if the sea itself is raging against your intent. The swaying light on the waves is almost at the cliff's base, its pulse frantic, and you sense Thomas's soul straining against the relic's hold. The ritual page's words burn in your mind. At dawn, the light, the seas, blood, and the relic's breaking. Dawn is close, the sky lightening faintly at the horizon, but the storm fights to keep the night, its clouds churning like a living thing. You enter the lighthouse, the symbols on the walls blazing now, their glow sinking with the lanterns. Flame, you climb to the platform, the sextant and letters in your cloak, and set the lantern at the center, its blue light streaming through the cracked dome. The relic stone hums louder, its symbols pulsing, and you place it beside the lantern, feeling a jolt as if the sea itself recoils. Margaret's voice is clearer, a desperate cry. Break it, now. You open the ritual page, its instructions precise. Align the sextant star, shatter the relic with the lantern's light, and offer a sacrifice to free the bound soul. The warning of a cosmogrit's life, for the light makes your hands tremble, but her plea drives you forward. You align the sextant, its star symbol catching the lantern's glow, and the dome fills with a radiant blue, the symbols on the walls flaring like fire. You lift the relic stone, its hum now a scream, and hold it in the lantern's light. A vision crashes over you, Margaret performing the ritual, her blood dripping into the lantern, the relic resisting as the sea's shadow rises, a formless mass that swallows her light. The vision fades, and you know the sacrifice isn't blood, it's will, a piece of yourself to break the curse. You focus, whispering Thomas's name, and strike the relic against the platform. It cracks, the symbols dimming, and the sea roars. The swaying light on the waves flaring brighter, as if Thomas's soul senses freedom. The lantern's flame surges, the lighthouse shaking, and you feel the pull, as if the sea is testing you, demanding something in return. You hold the relic, its crack widening, and speak to Margaret's presence. I'll finish it. The storm screams, the dome's glass rattling, but the lantern's light holds, a bridge to Thomas's soul. Dawn's first light breaks through the clouds, and you know the ritual's moment is here. The relic's curse teetering on the edge of release. The lighthouse trembles as the storm's final. Surge crashes against the cliffs. The lantern's blue flame blazing on the platform, its light piercing the cracked dome and slicing through the dawn's faint glow. The relic stone, cracked but still humming with a dark energy, lies in your hand, its symbols flickering as if fighting to hold on. Margaret's voice is a desperate chant in your mind. Break it, now. And the swaying light on the sea pulses frantically, Thomas's soul straining against the curse's grip. The ritual page's words echo, the lantern's light, the sea's blood, the relic's breaking, and a sacrifice. The sea roars, a living force, its shadow rising in your mind's eye, a formless mass that seems to coil around the lighthouse. Resisting the dawn, you grip the relic, its hum vibrating through your bones, and raise it in the lantern's blue glow. The symbols on the walls flare, their moon, wave, and star shapes burning white-hot, and the sextant, aligned with the star, hums in harmony. You feel the sea's wrath, a pressure in your chest, as if it's demanding you stop. A vision strikes. Margaret on this platform, her blood fueling the lantern, the relic resisting as the sea's shadow engulfs her light fading. The vision shifts to Thomas, trapped in the wreck, his hands clutching the relic as the sea whispers, mine. You snap back, the dawn's light stronger now, streaming through the dome. And you know the moment is here. You strike the relic against the platform again, harder, and the crack widens. A pulse of dark energy escaping, the sea's roar turning to a scream. The lantern's flame surges, blue light flooding the room, and the swaying light on the waves flares, so close it seems to hover at the cliff's edge. You feel Margaret's presence, her grief a weight urging you on, and you strike again. The relic shatters, fragments scattering, and the symbols dim, the hum silenced. The sea's shadow rises in your mind, a towering wave of darkness, and you feel the sacrifices cause not blood, but a piece of your resolve, your fear given to the light. The storm fights back, the lighthouse shaking, glass cracking, but the lantern holds, its light a defiant bridge to Thomas's soul. The sea's scream peaks, then falters, the shadow retreating as the dawn's light strengthens. The swaying light on the waves steadies, no longer frantic, and you sense Thomas's soul loosening from the curse's grip. Margaret's voice softens, a whisper now, almost free him. The storm's fury begins to ebb, the wind lessening. But you know the ritual isn't complete. The light must shine until the dawn fully breaks, sealing the relic's end, and freeing Thomas from the sea's hold. The lantern's blue flame burns steady, its light streaming through the lighthouse's dome as the dawn's first rays pierce the storm's fading clouds. The shattered relic lies in pieces at your feet, its symbols dark, the curses hum silenced, but the sea still churns below, its waves quieter now, as if exhausted. Margaret's whisper is softer, a relieved sigh, almost free him. The swaying light on the sea hovers at the cliff's edge, its pulse calm, and you feel Thomas's soul, no longer trapped but not yet free, waiting for the ritual's final act. The sextant glows faintly, its star symbol aligned, and the wall's symbols pulse gently, their energy spent but still guiding you. You kneel by the lantern, its warmth radiating through the cold air, and check the ritual page one last time. The instructions are clear. The light must shine until dawn's full break. The sea's blood and the relic's end binding the soul's release. You feel Margaret's presence, not just a weight now, but a figure, faint and translucent, standing beside you. Her face is clearer, her eyes no longer hollow but hopeful, fixed on the sea where the light sways. She nods, a silent urging, and you know the sacrifice your will, your fear has been enough to carry the ritual this far. The storm's roar is a distant murmur now, the sea's shadow retreating as the dawn strengthens. You lift the lantern, its blue flame flaring one final time, and hold it toward the window, the light streaming out to meet the swaying beacon on the waves. A vision flickers. Thomas, no longer in the wreck, but standing on the sea, his form glowing, the relic's fragments dissolving into the water. He looks toward you, his face from the locket, and smiles, a faint nod of gratitude. Margaret's ghost steps forward, her hand reaching out, and the two lights, yours and the sea's, merge, a radiant pulse that fills the lighthouse. The symbols on the walls fade, their purpose complete, and the sea falls silent, its waves lapping gently at the cliffs. Margaret's ghost turns to you, her form fading, and whispers, "Thank you." She and Thomas shimmer, their figures dissolving into the dawn's light, the swaying beacon gone. The lantern's flame dims to a soft yellow, its blue glow spent, and the lighthouse feels lighter, the air no longer heavy with grief. You stand, the sextant and letters still in your cloak, and look out at the sea, now calm, its surface reflecting the rising sun. The ritual is complete, the curse broken, and Margaret and Thomas are free, their souls released from the seas. Endless grasp, the lighthouse stands silent now, the storm's last whispers fading into a gentle breeze as you hold the lantern. Its yellow flame soft and ordinary, no longer pulsing with the widow's grief. The dawn's light streams through the cracked dome, painting the platform in hues of gold and pink, and the sea below lies calm, its waves lapping quietly against the cliffs, as if the ocean itself has exhaled. The sextant and letters rest in your cloak, their weight lighter now, the relic's fragments scattered at your feet, their symbols dark and lifeless. Margaret's presence is gone, her voice silent, but the memory of her final thank you lingers, a faint warmth in the air, as if she and Thomas have found peace at last. You descend the spiral staircase. The wall's symbols faded to mere scratches, their glow extinguished with the ritual's end. The lantern room feels vast, empty of the heaviness that once pressed against you, and you step outside, the morning air crisp and clean, carrying the scent of salt and wet grass. The cliffside path is no longer treacherous, the mud firming under the rising sun, and you make your way back to the village, the lantern in hand, its flame flickering gently. The cottages come into view, their stone walls glowing in the dawn, and you notice a change. The village feels alive, its silence replaced by the soft sounds of life. A dog barking, a shutter creaking open, the distant clatter of a cart. You pass the tavern, its sign still but no longer ominous, and see the barmaid from before sweeping the doorstep. She glances at you, her eyes widening at the lantern, and nods, as if sensing the change in the air. "It's quiet now," she says, her voice soft, like the seas finally at rest. You nod back, the lantern warm in your hand, and continue to the village square, where a few early risers gather, their faces less drawn, their whispers not of curses but of the day ahead. The graveyard lies at the edge of the square, and you pause by Margaret's stone, its symbols barely visible in the sunlight, the fresh footprints gone, as if her vigil has ended. You stand there, the sea's gentle rhythm in the distance, and feel the village settling into a peace it hasn't known for years. The lantern's flame flickers one last time, and you set it down by the grave, a final offering to Margaret and Thomas. The dawn is full now, the sky clear, and you know the curse's weight has lifted, the sea's shadow banished, leaving the village to breathe again, its story no longer bound by grief. You walk away from the graveyard, the lantern left behind, its flame dying out as the sun climbs higher, bathing the village in a warm, golden light. The sea stretches before you, its surface smooth, reflecting the sky like a mirror, no trace of the swaying light that once haunted its waves. The air is soft, the storm's memory a distant hum, and you feel a quiet certainty that Margaret and Thomas are gone, their souls freed, their story complete. The sextant and letters remain in your cloak, their edges worn but no longer heavy, relics of a tale you've helped end. The village hums with life now, doors opening, voices calling, as if waking from a long, troubled dream. You follow the path back to the cliff, drawn to the cottage one last time. The door is ajar, the interior silent, its walls no longer alive, with symbols or shadows. The spinning wheels sit still, the cracked mirror reflects only you, and the hearth's embers are cold, the room empty of the widow's presence. You step outside, the cliff's edge calm, the sea below whispering softly, its anger spent. The lantern's hook is empty, the rusted metal gleaming in the sunlight. and you realize the cottage is just a cottage now, its purpose fulfilled, its grief dissolved into the morning air. You sit on a rock by the cliff, the letters in your lap, and read one last time Thomas's words of love, Margaret's of sacrifice. They feel like echoes, not of pain, but of release. Their story woven into the village, the sea, the dawn. You tuck the letters away, the sextant beside them, and look out at the horizon, where the sea meets the sky in a seamless line. The village below stirs, its rhythm steady, and you know your part here is done. The lantern's last flicker, the final pulse of its flame, marked the end of a curse, and the peace it left behind is yours to carry as you leave. You rise, the sun warm on your face, and walk back to the village, the path firm beneath your boots. The sea's whisper follows you, not a plea but a sigh, a thank you from the depths. The cottage fades behind you, the lighthouse a silent sentinel, and the village breathes freely, its story no longer haunted. You feel lighter, the weight of the ritual gone, and the morning wraps around you, a promise of rest as the world wakes anew. The village fades as you walk, its cottages blending into the soft glow of the morning sun, the sea's gentle rhythm a lullaby in the distance. Your breath slows, matching the calm waves, each inhale drawing in the crisp, salty air, each exhale releasing the last traces of the night's weight. The path beneath your feet feels solid, grounding you, and the world grows quieter, the sounds of the village voices' footsteps, the creak of a cart softening into a soothing hum. You find a grassy hill, the earth cool and inviting, and sit, letting your body sink into its embrace, your cloak a warm shield against the breeze. You linger. In the village square, the morning sun now high, its warmth seeping into your cloak, still damp from the night's storm. The sea's gentle lapping is a distant hum, no longer a roar, and the village hums with quiet life-children's laughter, the clink of a blacksmith's hammer, a woman humming as she hangs laundry. The lantern you left by Margaret's grave is gone, as if claimed by the earth, and the graveyard itself feels lighter, its headstones no longer looming, but simply standing, weathered markers of lives long past. Yet, as you walk the cobblestone paths, a faint unease prickles at the edge of your thoughts, a whisper not of Margaret or Thomas, but of something unfinished, a thread of the curse that refuses to dissolve completely. You pass the tavern, its door open, the scent of fresh bread mingling with the salt air. The barmaid sweeping the step nods again, her eyes softer now, but you catch a flicker of hesitation, as if she senses what you do. You pause by a well. In the square, its stone rim worn smooth by generations, and notice faint scratches in the mortar moon wave, star barely visible, etched as if by a trembling hand. They're not glowing, not alive like the symbols in the cottage or lighthouse, but their presence feels deliberate, a reminder that the sea's shadow, though weakened, may not be gone. You touch them, the stone cold under your fingers, and a faint hum stirs, not in the air but in your chest, like a memory of the relic's pulse. You move on, drawn to the village's edge, where the path climbs toward the cliffs, the cottages. Here are quieter, their windows shuttered, and you notice small signs a door left ajar, a garden gate swinging in the breeze, a child's toy boat abandoned in the grass. Each feels like an echo, a ripple of the curse's long grip on this place. You stop at a small chapel, its wooden door weathered, and push it open. The air inside is cool, scented with old wax and dust, and the pews are empty, save for a single candle burning on the altar. its flame steady but small. You approach, and there, carved into the altar's edge, are the symbols, again, fainter but unmistakable. As if Margaret's ritual left traces everywhere, a shadow moves in the corner, and you turn, heart quickening, but it's only a curtain fluttering in a draught. Yet the unease grows, a sense that the village's peace is fragile, a thin veil over something still stirring. You step outside, the sun bright but not warm enough to dispel the chill in your bones. The sea glitters below, calm but vast, and you wonder if the relic's shattering was enough, or if its fragments, scattered in the lighthouse, still hold a sliver of the sea's wrath. You clutch the sextant and letters in your cloak, their weight a reminder of your role, and feel a pullback to the cottage, as if the answers lie there. In the place where Margaret's vigil began, you follow the path back to the cliff, the village's soft sounds fading as the sea's whisper grows louder. No longer a plea, but a low, persistent hum, like a warning. The cottage looms ahead, its weathered walls bathed in sunlight, its door still ajar, as if inviting you back. The hook where the lantern hung is empty, gleaming in the day's light, and you feel a pang, knowing its flame has gone out, its purpose fulfilled. Yet the symbols, moon, wave, staraged in your memory, seem to linger in the air, faint traces in the cottage's shadow. You step inside, the air cool and still, the hearth cold, the spinning wheel silent, but the unease from the village follows you, a sense that the curse's end may not be as final as it seemed. You move to the small room, the one with the chest and the scratched walls, 433, and notice something new. A faint seam in the floorboards, hidden beneath a tattered rug. You pull the rug aside, revealing a trapdoor, its wood unmarked but locked, a small keyhole etched with the star symbol. The sextant in your cloak feels heavier, and you check the letters, hoping for a clue, but find nothing about a key. Hum from the village returns, stronger now, and you kneel, running your fingers over the trapdoor. The sea's whisper grows, not in your ears, but in your mind, and you hear a new voice, not Margaret's, but rougher, older, a man's. The light, it's back. You leave the cottage, the trapdoor unopened, and head to the village, drawn to the docks where fishermen mend their nets. An old man, his face lined like the cliffs, watches you approach, his eyes sharp despite his age. You ask about the light, and he nods, pointing to the sea. Saw it last night, he says, his voice low, a lantern swaying out there after. The storm broke. His hands tremble as he knots his net, and he tells you of the starlight's curse. Stories passed down, the relic wasn't alone. Other fragments, other ships, carried pieces of the sea's wrath. Margaret's light kept them at bay, he says, but now she's gone. He trails off, glancing at the horizon, where the sea lies calm but heavy with secrets. You return to the cottage, the fisherman's words echoing, the hum of the cymbals growing louder. The trapdoor waits, and you realize the sextant's star symbol may hold the keynote, a physical one, but a guide. You align the sextant, its glow faint, in the daylight, and the trapdoor clicks, easing open. Below is a narrow staircase, descending into darkness. The air thick with salt and something sharper, like the relic's hum. You clutch the letters, the fisherman's tale a warning, and know the village's peace depends on what lies below, where the sea's last secrets wait. You stand in the cottage's small room, the trapdoor open before you, its dark staircase descending into a void that smells of salt and ancient stone. The faint hum of the sea's secrets rising like a breath. The lantern is gone, left at Margaret's grave, but its symbols moon wave. Starlinger in your mind, etched into the sextant you clutch, its brass warm against your palm. The fisherman's words echo a new light on the sea. A sign the curse's fragments may still stir, unbound by Margaret's ritual. The letters in your cloak feel heavier, their pages whispering of relics and sacrifices. And you sense this hidden room holds Margaret's final secrets, a piece of the puzzle you thought complete. The sea's hum grows louder, not a roar, but a murmur, as if watching, waiting for you to descend. You light a candle from the hearth, its small flame flickering in the draught, and start down the staircase. The steps narrow and slick, carved from the cliff itself. The walls are damp, etched with faint symbols that glow faintly as the sextant passes, their light pulsing in time with your steps. The air grows colder, thicker, the scent of salt mingling with something metallic, like old blood. The staircase spirals deeper than you expected, the candle's light barely reaching the walls, and you feel a weight, not Margaret's grief, but something older, as if the sea itself has seeped into the stone, its presence a silent observer. The stairs end in a small chamber, its floor uneven, scattered with pebbles and seaweed, as if the tide once reached here. The walls are covered in symbols, more intricate than those above, forming a spiral that draws your eye to a stone table at the center. On it lies a leather-bound book, its cover worn but intact, and a small wooden box, its lid carved with the star symbol. You set the candle down, its light catching the symbols, making them shimmer like water. The book is Margaret's, not a journal but a record, its pages filled with sketches of relic stones, amulets, a dagger all marked with the same symbols, all tied to the sea. One entry reads, "The curse is not one, but many." Each fragment holds a soul. Your heart quickens, realizing the starlight's relic was only part of a larger web, its pieces scattered across the sea. You open the box, and inside is a single object, a shard of stone, smaller than the relic you shattered, its surface etched with a wave symbol, glowing faintly. It hums, softer than the relic, but alive, and you feel a jolt, a vision flickering, a ship, not the starlight, sinking in a storm, a sailor clutching this shard as the sea's shadow claims him. The vision fades, and you're back in the chamber, the shard warm in your hand, the sea's hum louder, as if it senses the discovery. Margaret's book mentions a second ritual, not to free a soul, but to seal the curse's fragments. Using the cottage's light and a sacrifice of memory, you clutch the shard, knowing this room holds the key to the new light on the sea, and the village's peace hangs on what you do next. The chamber's air grows heavier, the sea's hum now a low pulse that seems to vibrate through the stone. Walls, as you hold the shard, its wave symbol glowing faintly in the candle's light. Margaret's book lies open, its pages detailing a second ritual to seal the curse's fragments. A task she never completed, her strength spent on saving. Thomas, the fisherman's tale of a new light on the sea echoes in your mind, a sign that the curse's remnants are stirring, unbound by the lantern's flame. The sextant in your cloak hums softly, its star symbol warm, and you feel a pull back, to the surface, to the cottage, where the ritual must begin. The sea's whisper grows, not Margaret's voice, but something deeper, a warning. They wake. You climb the staircase, the candle flickering as the symbols on the walls pulse, there, light dimming as you ascend. The cottage above is quiet, the sunlight streaming through the open door, but the air feels charged, as if the sea's presence has followed you. You set the shard and book on the table, the letters beside them, and notice a faint glow from the hearth where a single ember sparks, unlit since the storm. You kneel, and the ember flares, casting light on a hidden panel in the hearth stone, marked with the wave symbol. You press it, and a small compartment opens, revealing a glass vial identical to the one you used, filled with dark liquid that sees blood left by Margaret for this moment. You take the vial, its warmth startling, and read the book's ritual. The light must burn again. The sea's blood poured, the shard broken at the cliff's edge. The sacrifice is memory, a piece of your past given to the sea to seal the curse. You hesitate, the weight of losing something undefined pressing against you. But the sea's hum grows louder, and you see it through the window, a faint light swaying on the waves. Not Thomas's, but another soul, bound by the shard. You step. Outside, the vial and shard in hand, the sextant guiding you to the cliff's edge, where the sea glitters under the midday sun, its calm a deceptive mask. You stand where Margaret once stood, the shard humming, the vial's liquid swirling. A vision strikes. Another ship, its crew lost, the shard glowing as the sea's shadow coils around it, claiming another soul. The vision fades, and you feel the sea watching, its hum a challenge. You pour the vial's liquid into the dirt, the symbols flaring, and hold the shard high, its glow pulsing. The light on the sea sways closer, desperate, and you know the ritual must be completed, the shard broken, and a memory sacrificed to end the curse's last echo before the village falls back into shadow. You stand at the cliff's edge, the shard of the relic in one hand, its wave symbol glowing faintly under the midday sun. The empty vial at your feet, where the sea's blood has soaked into the earth. The sea stretches before you, its surface calm but heavy, the swaying light on the waves pulsing closer, a trapped soul bound by the shard's curse. The sextant in your cloak hums softly, its star symbol warm, and Margaret's book, tucked beside the letters, weighs on your mind its ritual clear. Break the shard, burn the light, offer a memory to seal the curse's fragments. The sea's hum is a low thrum now, not a roar but a challenge, as if it senses your intent to end its hold. The village below is quiet, its newfound peace fragile, and you know this ritual is the final step to ensure it lasts. You kneel the cliff's edge, crumbling slightly under your weight, and place the shard on a flat stone, its glow pulsing in time with the light on the sea. The book's instructions call for a new light, but the lantern is gone, left at Margaret's grave. You glance at the cottage, its door still ajar, and feel a pull to return. You hurry back, the sea's hum following, and search the small room. In the hearth's compartment, where you found the vial, you discover a single candle, its wick black but intact, etched with the wave symbol. You light it with a flint from the table, and the flame flares blue, not yellow, its glow mirroring the lantern's lost light, as if Margaret left this for you. You carry the candle back to the cliff, its blue flame steady despite the breeze, and set it beside the shard. The ritual page warns of the sacrifice of memory, something dear given to the sea. You close your eyes, the hum louder now, and a vision flickers, not Margaret's, but your own. A moment from your past a quiet evening, a loved one's laughter, a place you called home. It's vivid, warm, but you feel it slipping, the sea's hum pulling at it. You nod, accepting the cost, and raise the candle, its light streaming toward the sea. The shard's glow intensifies, and you strike it with a rock, the crack sharp, the symbol dimming. The light on the waves flares, a soul straining for release, and the sea's hum turns to a low wail. As if resisting, you strike again the shard, splintering, and the candle's flame surges, its blue light merging with the swaying beacon on the sea. The vision of your memory fades, a soft ache in its place, but you feel the curse weakening, the sea's hold loosening. The light on the waves pulses once, twice, then steadies, no longer frantic. The ritual is working, but the sea's wail grows, a final protest, and you know the last step awaits at dawn, when the light and the sacrifice must seal the curse's end, ensuring the village's peace forever. The candle's blue flame burns, steady at the cliff's edge, its light casting a soft glow over the shattered shard. Its wave symbol dark now, the curse's power fading. The sea lies calm, its hum silenced, and the swaying light on the waves hovers close. No longer a frantic pulse, but a gentle beacon, the soul within almost free. The sun dips low, the sky streaking with pinks and golds, and you know dawn is near, the ritual's final moment approaching. The sextant in your cloak is warm, its star symbol glowing faintly, and Margaret's book, open beside you, confirms the last step. Let the light shine at dawn, the sacrifice complete to seal the curse's fragments and banish the sea's shadow forever. You sit by the candle, the cliff's edge solid beneath you, and feel the village's peace settling, its weight lighter now, as if the air itself is breathing easier. The letters in your cloak are quiet, their stories told, and the sexton's hum is a soft reassurance, guiding you through the ritual's end. The sea's surface reflects the fading sun, and you see no trace of the shadow that once coiled through. Your visions, its wrath spent. A faint breeze carries the scent of salt and grass, and you feel a presence not Margaret's, not Thomas's, but the soul tied to the shard. A sailor lost long ago, waiting for release. As dawn breaks, the sky lightening to a soft blue, you lift the candle, its flame flaring one last time. You align the sextant's star symbol with the horizon, the light streaming through it, merging with the candle's glow. The swaying beacon on the sea pulses, then dissolves. A soft shimmer rising like mist, the soul freed. A vision flickers. A man, not Thomas, his face weathered but calm, nodding to you before fading into the dawn. The candle's flame dims too. Yellow, then goes out, its purpose complete, and the sea falls silent, its waves lapping gently, no longer heavy with secrets. You stand, the shattered shard at your feet, the sextant and book in your hands, and look to the village below. The cottages glow in the dawn, smoke rising from chimneys, voices carrying faintly a community at rest, its curse lifted. You walk back to the cottage, the air warm now, and place the sextant and book in the chest, closing it softly. The village is free, the sea at peace, and you feel the ritual's weight lift, your sacrifice a quiet ache that fades with the morning. The cliffs stand silent, the lighthouse a sentinel no longer needed, and you know the story is done. The village whole under the dawn's gentle light. Close your eyes, and let the sea's whisper guide you, its rhythm slow and steady, like a heartbeat easing you toward rest. The sun's warmth caresses your face, its light filtering through your eyelids, painting soft patterns of gold and blue. The lantern's flame, Margaret's grief, Thomas's soul, they're gone, dissolved into the dawn, leaving only peace. Breathe deeply, the air clean and light, and feel your shoulders relax, your thoughts drifting like clouds across a clear sky. The world is still now, the storm a memory, and you're safe. wrapped in the morning's gentle promise. Imagine the sea stretching before you, its waves rolling softly, each one a breath, in and out, carrying you closer to sleep. The village sleeps too, its people at rest, the cliffs silent under the sun's watchful gaze. Let your mind wander, unmoored, to a place where the light is soft, the air warm, and the sea's song a cradle. You're here, now, in this moment, and it's enough. Drift, breathe, rest. The world will wait,